Welcome to We Are Soccer. Today, I'm talking to Connor Klekota, who is taking a Georgetown team down to the TST 7v7 tournament, which starts next week. Connor, welcome to We Are Soccer.
Thanks, Greg. Really happy to be on.
All right, my friend, listen, this TST 7v7 tournament is it's picking up a lot of steam. There's a lot of big players, a lot of big teams that are heading there. They had one last year, which was phenomenal to watch. You got to be excited to be heading down to play in this, right?
Yeah, the group's really buzzing from the standpoint of just getting a Georgetown down there to represent the university and then also kind of merge the eras of Georgetown soccer that Coach Weech has coached and all of the guys who have played in really the past 20 years is something we're really excited about. One of the founders of TST, Henry Tenbaum, is a Georgetown soccer alum. And he was kind of pushing for us to do this last year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the team together. But this year, now with the help of some of the older guys, we've got the team ready, and hopefully we can put on a show.
Awesome, man. So, I was looking at the groups. You're in Group K. I'm calling it the college group because you got the Hoosier Army from Indiana. You've got Freedom United, Triton FC, former college players, former college and pro players put together. This is a fun group, and there's a little bit of a history between Hoosier Army, Indiana IU, and Georgetown from the 2012 championship game, correct? So there's got to be a little bit of, I don't say bad blood, but we're looking forward to that game, right?
It was the first thing a lot of the Georgetown alums started talking about when they came onto the team. So as we were going through the recruitment process and bringing in players, Henry was kind of in and around it as well, and some of the guys know him from before. And we were like, "So what are the chances that you guys are going to put Indiana and us in the same group? Like, is there some revenge that we can maybe get for that game?" And all in all, I think the group's going to be pretty fun. I think you think about just guys that you've met or ran through just in your time as a college athlete, as a club soccer player. The seeing those names and faces and getting to play against them one more time, I think should be pretty good. But yeah, the Hoya alums from that 2012 team are pretty excited to have a little throwback here on the TST pitch.
I have absolutely no doubt. Have you gone back and watched a couple of those games from last year to see how how the games played out and to try to pick up a couple of things here and there?
Yeah, so well, Coach Weiss tasked me with prepping video scouts and philosophy for how our group's going to play. So I personally have spent the time watching all of Newtown's games from a year ago. And then I watched the Hoosier Army games and I watched a couple of the other teams, just some of the guys that I knew. And we created kind of a philosophy that we're hoping to play as a group. But what's pretty fun is you go through it, and as much as we have some guys who have been really good players with really good careers, you go through and you're like, well, we're adapting a lot of hockey mechanisms as we're going into this game because the game is so different than an 11-a-side one. We've almost been thinking about, well, how do we line change? How do we properly sub? How do we actually maybe have a different philosophy building? And then once we get into their half, how do we have our attackers get on the ball more because we want our best players to be in it. So I don't know if these are things we'll figure out until we're actually in game one fully, but we're trying our best in the lead up.
That is I mean, that is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. You're doing some video scouting work, you're putting some philosophies together, you're talking about transitions, you're talking about subbing, what are you going to do in the offense? That is man, we can go into some real weeds with that stuff. It's got to be completely different from what you do as an assistant coach for the Georgetown team, where it's more 11v11 soccer based. Now you're coming down to this small pitch with a change of rules. Rules like the game doesn't end with a clock; it ends with a goal. So the team that's down can also come back and beat the team by scoring however many goals it takes plus one. Have you gone through the rules? Have you gone through the little nuances that the things like that within this tournament?
Yeah, so we actually met just about a week ago, and all that was rules, and then we started talking through what our lines are going to be, and then through that we talked about all of our potential set piece opportunities because of what the rules give, right? No throw-ins, so everything's a kick in. But there's questions of, well, do you put the ball in the air because maybe that starts transition more than if it's always on the ground? Do you always sub on an attacking set piece just to rotate and see who's fresh? How often do you use your goalkeeper in the building process because you have that opportunity? And little things like, how do you set up a wall when the goal's smaller, and how do you attack a wall when the goal's smaller? So we're looking into all the rules, just trying to find, again, like, how are we going to create little advantages over the run of our time together? Because a lot of these guys all have heard the same soccer philosophy through their time with Coach Weiss. And now it's, well, how do we take what all of these guys are made of and figure out, well, how do we adapt this to the 7-a-side game and the rules that are put in place to do it? And we have been figuring out through, some fitness, basically who's telling us who's the fittest players, and the guys who have maybe been played pro the most recently, is what is our TST lineup going to be, that target score time lineup, to kind of run through that entire opportunity. And that might be a team that goes for longer periods of time instead of maybe our planned 90-second shifts. Is, can they play that entire target score time just because they're more fit and they're best for those moments when they start taking players off the field?
I got to be honest, I'm astonished. I'm absolutely loving the fact that you guys have delved this far into it about who's the fittest. How are we going to sub? How do we set a wall up? How do we attack a goal with a smaller goal on free kicks? And I mean, I really am interested to see your first game, which is 10:30 in the morning, June 5th, that first day against Freedom United SC. All the planning is going to come together, I have no doubt. I'm excited to watch that game. Have you thought about how to temper the expectations of the players? Because this is a big tournament. It's on TV. Lots and lots of people in the country and around the world know of it. Coming out, as we all know, into a big game or into a tournament, you have to kind of like, all right, keep your feet on the ground here, boys. Have you guys talked about that as well?
Yeah, a little bit. And the good thing is that I'm probably the least experienced soccer player of the entire group that's going to be coming and playing. So they've played in bigger games than me. A lot of them have been professional athletes. So from a mentality standpoint, they should be able to deal with this. They've also put us on field 7, which is the farthest field tucked away in the corner. So hopefully that provides us to have a little calmness and to get ready to get after it. But I think there's a couple things. One, the group's really motivated to play together. The group's really motivated to put on an advertisement for Georgetown. And then 3, this $1 million is real. And, I think the group wants to do anything we can to provide our best opportunity to win it, and just do the best that we can as a group and hopefully put on a show. But I'll be very honest, the group chat of the team has been buzzing, and it kind of keeps getting a little bit more talkative as we get closer. So that's going to be our job as coaches, is can we calm everybody down once we get to these Airbnbs come next week?
Absolutely. All right. So, Connor, I got to ask, there's a lot of good teams, a lot of good players down there. Is there a team that you are looking forward or hope to play against as you move on in the rounds? Who is that one team you're like, man, you're in your head, you're like, I really hope we play against that team because I want to be able to say I've played against that guy.
Mm-hmm. So without getting ahead of the group stage, right? There is a team that we talk about sometimes, and obviously, if you get the chance to play Aguero, if you get the chance to play Balotelli, if you get the chance to play some of these awesome names, that would be terrific. But there is one team that's in it, Sire 7. If you look at their roster, it's almost all Premier League, former Premier League players.
Huh.
And it's not a team that necessarily has one guy and then a bunch of his buddies, which maybe some of these teams look like. It's the whole team looks like guys who have played in the Prem. And you're like, it would be awesome to get out of the group stage, then line up against a team like that, just for the experience of, their quality is unbelievable. But to be on the same field as guys like that could be something that could be an experience maybe none of us will ever forget.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maybe that's the answer to my next question of, is there a team out there you're hoping to avoid? I mean, you nailed it though. Like there's premiers. I don't know if people know, but there are Premiership players. Cesc Fabregas Sergio Aguero. But then we've also got some celebrities like Pat McAfee is going to be there. Ocho Cinco, former football player, right? So there's some real fun teams and run fun players. It's an entertaining aspect down there. But yeah, there's got to be a team. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the Sire 7 team. It is the one you're like, I really just hope we avoid them altogether. And if we have to play them, maybe in the final.
Yeah, it would like that would be pretty scary lining up against a bunch of former Premier League guys for sure. But I do think just through watching last year's, the teams made up of indoor players, the team made up of futsal type players, those are the guys who understand the spaces the best. So they maybe have an upper hand in the standpoint of just how to navigate the field space, how to navigate the set pieces, how to navigate the subbing, where we're going to go into this and learn this on the fly as we go. And you think about why maybe the Newtown Pride team won a year ago. One, they have incredible quality, but two, the game that a majority of them played on a regular basis was similar to that of TST. And I think those are the teams that you go through and you're like, well, that would probably be a really hard game just because of their familiarity with the space that you're going into.
That makes a lot of sense. You're right. That that team had indoor players who played professionally, and you're right. There's such a big difference between soccer 11v11 versus 6v6 because of the spacing and the timing and the little rule nuances. So you're right that the TST might be catered a little bit towards them, but nonetheless, with the quality you have in your group, I have no doubt you guys are going to be awesome. Listen, man, you are the team you have, the work you've put in. I have no doubt you guys are going to do an awesome job and represent Georgetown University really well. I wish you all the best at the tournament, my friend.
Thanks so much. I just hope we can put on a good show for the university and for all the guys who have played here.
Sure you will. All right, good luck.
Thank you.